Welcome back to the channel, Sagitnet 2. Hello everyone. And today's episode is, this is your portion, time and place in this channel. I always pick a questions and a comment, and I try to explain a little bit of showing you within the parts itself. You know, sometimes when you have a build ideas on your head, it's like you're carrying a piece of baggage in your head. Couldn't get it off. And if you are like me, yeah, I felt the same thing too, man. Whenever I have a project in my head, sometimes I could not stop, not until I want to see the results, the end of it. Sometimes it's very rewarding to see the outcome of it, and sometimes it's just not too triumphant. On this episode, you were asking about if an 11.8 brake rotor from Acura RSX can be put on a 4th gen Prelude using an RL caliper like this one here. And the reason for it is you wanted to retain your 16-inch rims. And the answer to that is it's possible, or maybe it's not, but it all depends on you. It is not possible to use the existing plug and play bracket that you can get off the market using a 4th gen Prelude Knuckle, and I'm going to show you that later on. But it is possible to make your own custom adapter bracket and have it welded on your knuckle. Let me show you. First of all, I'm gonna show you my build ideas back then. Back at the time when I made this, there is no bracket, there is no existing bracket that you could get. So this massive caliper can be applied or installed on a CD5 Accord chassis. So I have to be creative, and yeah, I have this thing in my head that I wanted to try it and see if it's possible. Back on those times, it was the Honda Tech, and all you see is just a bunch of pictures. Yeah, it's nothing like the same as now, where you could actually see people, you know, doing things, welding, cutting and everything, and at the end you will see the end results. But this is the product of it. I made a first prototype, and I came up with the upgraded version. But this is your knuckle right here. This is from Honda Prelude. I'm not sure if you have a 5 lugs. Regardless, you can always get an RSX and have it re-drilled for a 4 lugs, and just get the centric ring that goes over on the hub, so it will fit on, you know, without slapping around. I also have made my own bracket right here. It's because of I never did like this adapter bracket that is made out of aluminum, and from doing multiple servicing on the caliper, I ended up stripping this. Yeah, there's a flaw design on this one. It's just that these 2 holes right here are just right at each other, and there's just not enough room. As you can see, the threading is just too shallow. And be very careful if you ever get one of these. Always use a torque wrench when you torque in that bolt. And their instructions is what, torque it to 60 or 80 foot-pounds, I think. Don't even go that high. Yeah, all right. And that's the reason why I made out of steel right here. the 96 to 2000 Civic LX. Why is this related on what we are talking about? It's because of, like I said, that Fast Brakes, I'm not sponsored by them, okay? This knuckle can accept an 11.8 rotors and also that caliper using Fast Brakes bracket that they made to it. Yeah, it's a plug and play. And the difference between the Prelude and Honda Accord knuckle is the distance. As you can see, this knuckle from Civic, it's smaller compared to the Prelude one. Let me show you the difference when the bracket is installed. This is just approximation from the flange to the center of the hub. That's about 3 inches, and it's about 3 inches and a quarter. On the Honda Prelude, the center of the hub to the flange, it's 3.5 plus 2 lines, which is 1/8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5/8. 3 inches and 5/8. So 3 inches and 5/8. And this is 3 inches and a quarter. We're talking about 3/8 difference. That's the reason why that massive caliper can be used on a Civic knuckle using a bracket like this. Prelude knuckle is just too big. The distance between the center of the hub and the mounting place for the adapter bracket, it's too far out. It extends too much. When you put on an adapter bracket, you can tell the difference between the two. But let me show you my DIY knuckle. This is the first prototype that I made. I made this one so I can fit a 4-piston from Mazda. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking about using a big rotors, not that big. And when I tried it on my rims, it just looks funny. So what I did say, wait a minute, now I have to make something DIY brake contour to the shape of my rims. See how that thing pokes out like that in a curve? So I have decided to I want that caliper to be right here in this area, and I came out with a 13 inches. This is what I ended up having right there. I sure learned a lot when I did this one. I was paying so much dollars to get this thing welded, right? Remember, I was making a prototype and everything. There's 2 of them. There's the other pair. And then this one is next. I paid so much money that I said, wait a minute, why I'm paying all this much money to get this thing welded? Why don't I try weld it myself? And back at that time, you can get an AC/DC TIG welder for 400 bucks. And if it's just a DC welder, you can get it for less than that. And that's what I did. After I got done with this, I got myself a welder and I started to learn, teach myself how to weld. And up to this day, I'm still practicing how to weld. I'm okay on what I do. Yeah, hopefully this will give you an idea. And if you are true to your heart, you know, on what you want to do, you can do something like this. Sometimes you have to spend a little more in the order to get your build ideas to be true, like I did here. But to give you an insight on how I did this, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that you could watch, and it will give you an idea on how to do it. So what I did, make sure to get an RSX rotor brand new. The reason for using a new RSX rotor, it's because of this adapter bracket will be fixed. What you're doing is you want to place the rotor on its center form. That's the reason why you want to use a new rotors. Using a used one, you don't really know how much material is taken off on each side, so it might give you a false indication of centering and having this thing fixed welded on the knuckle. So anyway, if you already have the caliper, go ahead and set your rotors on top of it on the hub and place your caliper, put a new brake pads on it, and start shimming. Once you have that right here, once you place that two pads, it will be exposed, and you can use this area to center by placing a shim on it, on the pads. Yeah, you will see here, but you have to make sure that that pads is not passing this, just barely even. You don't want it too low, otherwise it'll make a ridge once it starts wearing out, and it might give you a little bit noise and a pulse on your brake pedal. You don't want that. But there's always a fix to it. All you need to do is just get rid of that ridge, the one that already been made by the brake pads. Subarus have a lot of problem on those one. And yeah, just place your brake pads almost even to the rotors and make sure to center it. Once you got it all shimmed up and everything, the 11.8 and the brake caliper will sit butt against this anyway. So you can go ahead and cut this off right here, and then that will give you the distance. Once you found the distance between the caliper and this, now you're ready to make your own bracket like this. Just place it on there and tack it welded, and then you'll be good. You'll be golden. So you ended up a product like this. It may sound easy, but once you have the actual part in your hand, you will get into a lot of answering and question portion to yourself. But by giving you that idea that it is possible, you ended up keeping your 16-inch rims. But don't forget the extended studs, because using this is not gonna go, because you're gonna end up using a spacer so that caliper will clear your wheels. So you have to think ahead of all those things. So to answer your questions, it is possible. I mean, I did it back at the time when there's no adapter bracket like this, where it is now that you can buy and plug and play. So you're gonna end up having something like this. Just get it welded. All right, this is where I end this episode, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next. Actually, there's a multiple questions and answer comments coming up. I just could not fit all of them in 10 minutes or so. So stay tuned and yeah, yours might come up. Bye everyone. Later. Dropping the spindle, so I cut this off so it won't smack the shock tower so much, but I just kind of dropped that idea. I said I don't need it anymore. Yeah, maybe one of these days I might. I think I cut this up in the wrong area. I should have cut it here from where I have this flat section right there. That's where I should have cut it right there and remove about 1 inch. All right.